Welcome in, Eagle fans, as we introduce to you the newest addition to Eagle Nation and head coach Tyson Summers, the 10th head coach in Georgia Southern football modern era. And coach, first off, congratulations and welcome back to Eagle Nation.
I appreciate it. My wife, my three boys, we are ecstatic to be back.
The past couple days and weeks have had to have been a whirlwind for you and your family, finishing up the regular season at Colorado State, going through the interview process here at Georgia Southern and making the move down to Statesboro, all wrapped around the holiday season.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think the biggest thing through all of it is that we've tried to do a good job between my wife, Beth, and our three boys of really just trying to make sure that the time that we've got has been quality time. I think that we've done a good job here at Georgia Southern of being able to make sure that the players here have been able to enjoy their bowl and get the due that they've earned for having a great year and the team's first ever bowl victory. So we've tried to be able to kind of balance all those things between recruiting. At one point in time, I did have bowl practice at Colorado State and trying to move forward with hiring a staff here at the same time.
You're from nearby Tifton, Georgia, about 3 hours away from where we sit here in Statesboro. You were on staff here back in 2006. What's it like to come back here to Statesboro?
It's like coming home. I think there's a lot of similarities to Tifton and Statesboro from a town standpoint. I certainly feel like coming back, and this is where Beth and I want to raise our boys. This is where we want to be able to have our children in school. We want to be closer to our family. We want this to be home, and we want it to be home for a long time.
As we dig into the philosophy for you on the football field a little bit, we'll start with where your background is, that being the defensive side of the ball. You talked about it in the press conference, but take us through what a Tyson Summers coach defense looked like.
Well, I think the biggest thing that you hope to see is discipline. You want to see guys that don't make mistakes. You want to see guys that step with the right foot. You want to see guys that do all the little things right. That have nothing to do with talent. And then you want to see aggressive guys that aren't afraid to make mistakes, but guys who are wanting to be able to get the ball in their hand, guys that want to make big plays. And so I think as long as we can stay with those things of discipline and aggressiveness, I think that's what we're hoping to get out of it.
From the offensive side, as we flip over, what's kind of an offense look like for you, and what are some of the tweaks and adjustments you look to make here in the next couple of weeks?
Well, I think, again, we're certainly going to study the offense more in depth as we go through it, but right now we're not planning on it looking a lot different. We certainly want to stay in the gun. We want to be able to sit there and make a few tweaks, but we want to be in the gun. We want to be able to stay in 21 personnel and be a quarterback run team that's able to have the ability with the backs and the triple option and all the things that they've done in different backfield sets, motions and tempos. And I certainly think the ability to now add in some 20 personnel looks off of those as well, but we'd certainly like to be able to add and continue to develop our passing game and give our quarterbacks an opportunity to make plays with their arm as well as their feet. From having defended the option, I can tell you it's hard, and that's where your stressors are all the time. If you're loading the box for the run game, you're opening yourself up for a big play in the passing game. And so we want to be able to expose all those things and give ourselves a package that can do that.
I don't know how much you've been able to see this team this year. I'm sure you got a chance to see the GoDaddy Bowl back on Wednesday. What are some of the things that excite you about the team that you already have here in Statesboro?
Well, again, I think a big piece of it is culture. We talk about having a winning culture, having to have guys that have that know what work takes and a work ethic and discipline and those things, and coming together and believing. Anytime you've got a football team that believes and in each other and their staff, and they believe they're going to win every game like this football team appears to, that's a big part of trying to develop young men and trying to get them to be able to have all those same beliefs. So we're excited about the opportunity with that, and I certainly think that we've got talented guys that can run, guys that can hit, and guys that have certainly committed themselves to the weight room.
From a recruiting standpoint, everybody knows the hotbed that the state of Georgia is. Take us through kind of your recruiting philosophy, and is it kind of staying with the Southeast that you know so well? Sure.
I think that we're going to try to put, a fence around our state. We certainly want to feel like that's where we start with our recruiting. We're going to dabble into other states, and that partly being in North Florida, be in South Carolina as well. We'll be able to get into parts of Alabama, but we want to make sure we take care of our home state first. I've said it a bunch of times. it's easy for me to be biased because I am from here, because I've been recruiting South Georgia for 15 years. But these are some of the best high school coaches and programs I've ever been around, are all right here within 100 and 200 mile radius. And we certainly want to expose and give opportunities to those teams first, and get as many kids on campus as we can, let them see the fantastic facilities we have here and why we're such a big championship team.
Finally, before I let you go, take us through the timeline going forward for you once you get boots on the ground here in Statesboro. A long to-do list, I know, over the next couple weeks and months. What's the first couple things you hope to cross off?
Well, I think the two things that are most challenging from a time perspective, again, are going to be the first thing, making sure that I do a good job starting to develop and build the relationship with our current team. I think that again, is something that gets lost in the shuffle a lot of times, between hiring a staff and recruiting, and all the things that go into fundraising. So I've really got to make sure that I spend a good amount of time each day trying to focus on our current team. We've certainly got to put a premium and a focus on recruiting, keeping the guys that are committed in the boat, making sure that we're looking outside, and continuing to look for other guys through the process, and trying to evaluate players as well. We're going to have a good plan for our official visits when we get an opportunity to have those coming up here in a couple of weeks, and certainly trying to hire and build a staff is a big piece of it. We're not going to be rushed or be pushed into doing something fast for the sake of doing it fast. We want to do it right and want to make it the best thing it could be for Georgia Southern.
Well, Coach, we appreciate your time on a busy day, I'm sure, for you and your family. Congratulations and welcome back to Eagle Nation once again.
Thank you for having me.
That's head coach Tyson Summers, the 10th head coach in Georgia Southern football modern era history. For Georgia Southern Athletics, this is Colin Lacy saying so long, everybody.